Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we're going to make a necklace using lucite flowers and a bunch of metals, and it's a little bit different design. I really like it. I got inspired by a design I saw on Pinterest and just kind of branched out a little from there, so we're going to attempt it today. Our encouraging word for today is by Henry Ford. He says, if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. So the power in our mind is it's very powerful. You can think that you can't do a thing and you won't. You can think that you can do a thing and you will. So always try, always try. Okay, so let me show you what you're going to need. So today I've got these hand-painted lucite flowers. Now these are available on my website in tons of different colors. I think they turn out beautiful. They look like stained glass when you get them painted. And I really, I think they're so pretty. They're fun to work with too. So I've got one of these. This is the 22 millimeter one. Again, they're on my website. It will be under 22 millimeter hand-painted lucite flowers. These two right here are the flat flowers, okay? And I like to layer these. A lot of times like this. We're going to make a really fancy little focal piece. So I've got two of the flat flowers. I have several of the little tulips. And again, all these are on my website. I have several of the little minis. These are the little tiny minis. And then I have several of the 14 millimeter, okay? These are the 14 millimeter, and these, they're all hand painted. So I sit down and I paint them all by hand, and I think they turn out so pretty. And then I've got this guy. Now he is not on my website. He is a 14 millimeter fancy, and I still need to do some more of these. But I'm probably gonna add him onto this today. And then I've got some bead caps. So these are just bead caps from my own stash. And I like this big cone. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. We'll try and see. I don't know. It just depends. So I've got those. I have these filigree. These are on my website as well. And these layer so pretty with the flowers. And I'm using antique copper today. And then I'm going to mix in a little gold, KC gold. And then I've got these little 5-petal ones. Again, they are on my website. So most of this stuff you can find on my website. Some of it you can't, but for the most part, it's on there. Okay, and I will link the website in the description box below. I have a few fire polish beads here. The color on these are not on my website. Look at them though. I think they're fire opal. Let me check and see. Nope, topaz/pink. Okay, which I would not have guessed that to be the case, but that's what they are. Fire polish, 6 millimeter, topaz pink. Okay, and then I have some very small fire polish, 4 millimeters, and these are just a burgundy, a deep burgundy color. I don't have them labeled, so I'm not sure the exact name of them. And then I have some bicones. These are Swarovski, I think light jonquil AB. They're 4 millimeter. Okay, I have this bead cap. It's just it's a glass AB coated bead cap, and I got it, I think, on AliExpress. I've had it for a long, long time, so I'm not totally sure. And then I have some of these center drilled flowers. These came from Bargain Bead Box. And I just think they're so beautiful with the shimmer coating and just gorgeous. Okay, and then I have a jump ring for my lobster to clasp onto. I have a lobster clasp. And then I've got some closed rings. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. One's going to be for the lobster at the end. These other 5 are going to go on the necklace. I have some antique copper eye pins and some ball head pins in gold. Okay, and then I pulled out these gold bead caps here. I don't have these on the site, but I'm not positive I'm going to use them. I had them out. We'll see. I don't know. It all depends. I have to try and see how things go sometimes before I decide what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way here. We're going to start with the focal. So I'm probably going to be using all of that. I definitely want to put a couple of these guys on there. And this guy. These. probably those. And then we'll see what we end up doing. I'm going to pull just a bunch of this stuff out. And I don't know how we're going to put it together yet. But I love layering these flowers. They are so pretty when you layer them up with metals and the other flowers that are coordinating. They just turn out beautifully. So I'm going to put some of the bicones over here and a couple of these fire polish as well, and we'll see where we go with this, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, this is the big one. I'm going to set it out for just a minute because I want to make, I've got these 3 pieces here, and I'm going to layer him with the big one because there's only, so I've got these 2 guys here, and I want to make a couple of dangles or a couple of smaller ones with dangles. So I'm going to take my fire polish beads and one of each of my bicones. Let's pull those out. I've got a couple of these guys and a couple of these. And these 2, that'll go with that. These can go on here. And then I don't know if I'll use, I probably will use a couple of the bigger fire polish beads. Probably not going to use these 2 guys. Well, I may. I don't know. We'll see. And then I've got these 2. See, if I put this on here, it's going to cover him up completely. And I definitely don't want to completely cover them up. They're just too pretty, so I probably won't use those down here in this part. I may use a couple of these, and I'll show you how. Okay. So grab an eye pin. So I've got my antique copper eye pins. Actually, I'm going to use a ball head pin first. And I'm going to make 2 teeny tiny little dangles. Let me scoot this to the side. My camera does not like to focus if there's too much distraction going on. So, okay. I'm going to make 2 teeny tiny little dangles. So I'm just going to take this little bicone. I am going to bend this 90 degrees. And I'm going to make a wrapped loop. So I take my round nose pliers and grab it in the bend. Then I'm coming up and over, and it looks like a question mark. Okay? You have to rotate your pliers up. They were sideways. We've got to go vertical with them. And then I'm going to come on around, just like that. And then I like to take my chain nose pliers, grab this loop, and then take another pair of pliers and wrap. These are Xuron brand pliers, and I love them. And I'm just making a little wrapped loop there. Nothing too intricate, but I want it to be kind of, there we go. I just want it to show up a little bit, the little wrapped loop. And then I need my cutters. And I'm just going to trim this little snag off. Okay, and tuck it in. There we go. There's one. We're going to make one with the fire polish the same exact way. So I'll repeat the process. Bend 90 degrees. Grab in the bend. Come up and over. Rotate up. Come around. You can grab this with these pliers and just wrap with your finger if your ball head pin is pretty thin, which mine is. I don't know what gauge these are, but they're not super big. They're super thick. I'd say they're probably 22, maybe 24. And then you just want to tuck your little snaggle. These love to spin on me. So just try to tuck your little snaggle in. It's a little hard fiddly there. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to do 2 more. So same thing. And these are just going to be little dangles. They'll look really cute hanging out from the bottom of our flowers. And you can wrap a little or you can wrap a lot. It's totally up to your own creative control. I like to do them all just a little bit different. There's that one. And one more. thought these were some gorgeous colors for summer, the bright reds and yellows. They could also be really pretty for fall because, you know, you've got your fall leaves and all that, which I don't think that we're going to get a fall now that I'm in Florida. And that's my favorite season, so probably going to miss that, but I don't know that you get much of that down here. I love fall. All right, so there we have it. This one needs tucked a little. Okay, and this one needs tucked a little too. Let me try to hold it by the top there. It can be a little fiddly to get those ends tucked in, but there we go. Okay, so we've got our 4 little dangles. Now we're going to work with these guys. So let's see here. I like to layer them. That's really going to be kind of cute right there. So I think we'll do each one of these with that. And then these bead caps, you can put them on top. I like to flatten them out and have like a little base down here, if that makes sense. And I'm going to layer a bunch of this. So we're going to flatten out 1 bead cap for each one. Then I will use one of these on each one and layer them. Then I will use one of these little guys, okay? And then that's what we're going to hang our dangles from, I think. Pretty sure, and I may use these on the top. Actually, I may need a couple more of those. Okay, so let's grab an eye pen and just see what we get. Okay, I think I will do this guy, then this guy, then this guy, then this one. See how those layer in there, and that just looks so pretty. It's like a little bit of lace almost sticking out. And then this guy. Yeah, these are super cute. Now, you can turn this bead cap upside down if you want and put something in the top of it, which really adds a lot of the to the decorative element here. I may use the bicone instead of the fire polish. Yeah, I like the look of that better. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and make a loop. Don't really have enough to make a wrapped loop on this. Actually, before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and attach my little dangles, because once you get this closed up here at the top, it's going to be very difficult to open that loop again without your beads trying to fall off. Okay, so I'm just bending that 90 degrees right there, and I'm going to go ahead and hang these on here so that I don't have to try to open that. And I may need another jump ring, so let me grab my jump ring tower. Over here is a little bit iffy. I don't want to pick it up by the top. Okay, so I'm going to grab a couple of these little jump rings, and the reason for that is I don't want these to both hang at the same level, okay? So what I'm going to do is I am going to take one and put it on a jump ring. May actually put it on 2 jump rings, just because I want one to hang lower than the other. So yeah, I think I'm going to do 2 jump rings on this guy. Close this up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hang this on that loop. Okay, so just right here. And put him on. Yeah, that's going to hang down super cute. Now this guy, I think I'm just going to put right on the loop. Let me see here how he looks when I get him right on the loop. Close it up. Yeah, those are super cute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten this back out, and I'm going to go ahead and come down here closer to the bead and bend it the 90 degrees. I just don't want a lot of space. I don't want, you know, the beads to be moving around a lot. I'm going to trim that off to make a small loop to roll back. And again, I don't like to do big loops here because your beads are going to flop around if you do. You want it to be kind of tight, okay? So there we have it. There's one little flower. Now we're going to do this other one. You can do it exactly the same if you want, or you can switch things up. So let's see. I think I'm probably going to do it the same. I like the way that one turned out. And this one is a different color, so it's going to be switching things up a bit anyway. So I'm just going to do it the same, I think. We've got our yellow flower, our bead cap here, and then we'll put this guy facing up. And I don't know why I do this every time. I should have done this first. Go figure. I don't know. I do that every single time. I get in I get all excited and want to make my next piece, and then I forget to hang these on it before I put all the beads on. Okay. So this one, so we did the yellow one on 2 jump rings on this one. I think I'm going to do the red one on 2 jump rings on this guy. So same deal here, just 2 little jump rings. And we'll just go ahead and put this one on the loop. And then I'm going to open the loop up and go ahead and put the yellow one on. So I mentioned that these are on my website, and my website is back open. I don't know if you guys have followed the whole move and everything. It's been crazy, but the website's back open. And I have mystery bags on there, which are pretty cool. So in the move, I had some bead strands that got broken, you know, and had a bunch of loose beads and some stuff like that. So I just went ahead and took a lot of the beads that I had that, it's, you know, I can't really sell them when the strand has gotten broken because I don't know if I've lost any, or whatever. So I took those strands and just some other stuff, miscellaneous stuff, and I created mystery bags. So they've got a lot of really cool stuff in them. They have a lot of my handmade polymer clay stuff in them. And they have just a lot of beads, some findings, bead caps. So they're pretty cool. They're $10.99 each, which I felt like was a really good deal for them. And you'll definitely get your money's worth out of them. So check them out. Okay, so we've got our 2 little dangles here. I love them. They're adorable. So we're going to make our big one. So we've got this guy right here. And I can't decide if I want to. I think I do want to put this cone on. I think it's super pretty. Very interesting. I've never used one of these big ones before. But the problem is my head pin, or eye pin, barely sticks out the top of it. And I don't have any copper wire right now, or a longer eye pin. I do have this eye pin that is this Casey Gold. I could use it. We'll see how far it sticks out. It may not stick out far enough either. It barely does. So I could probably use this guy. So let's look here. I like to layer these in here. So actually, if I use that eye pin, these aren't going to layer in here very well. But let's see. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to spread it out. I might take this one and flatten it out too. And to do that, usually they flatten easier than that, but just take it and open it up flat, okay? So these they make such pretty little layers in here. I love to use these. Okay, so all right, so let's look here. Let me take another one of the pins and let's do this. Let's go ahead and put this on and this on. So you really can't even see the gold one layered in there unless you turn it sideways, or unless you twist it kind of to where the leaves stick out, and it's just not going to stay that way. So the gold one, unless I put something in between here, which I could do, I could take one of these little guys, and that would shove this up just far enough, I think, to where that gold one would show a little. Yeah, that makes that gold one show a little bit more. let's go ahead and put this one back on. It still doesn't show a lot, but it gives it enough of it peeking out there to where it's pretty. Okay, so let me think here. How do I want to do this? This guy, let me see if this will work. I don't have any wire that I can really use just to make my own. Yeah, and that is just not going to be enough room to make a loop at the top. So let me look here real quick. I wonder, I don't think it will matter if I bend these out further. It could go down on there just a little bit more, but that's going to cover up the whole thing, and I don't really want to cover the whole thing up. I want the pretty colors to show. So let's see what it looks like without it. Let's do this guy on here. Now let's see. Not really caring for that a whole lot. Not without the big cone. The big cone kind of made it look good, but the big cone's just too big. I wonder if I can cut the big cone. I wonder what happens if I just... This is what I do, guys. I modify things, so if it's not working for me, I'm going to modify it. Okay, so big cone now is still big, but not quite so big. It might actually work. So let's see. And again, this is all kind of trial and error, playing around, seeing what you like, what you don't like, what you think looks good. Okay, so that definitely works. Let's bend this 90 degrees. Okay, and now let's see what we could do for layering down here. So let me look here. I'm just trying to think and figure out how I want it to go. Okay, so this guy I definitely want to hang off the bottom. So he's going to be a dangle and probably get that and maybe another fire polish. I forgot about this. This is pretty cool actually. Okay, so let's take our bead or our eye pin here. I don't know if, yeah, I'll probably use him on there. Okay, let's scoot that to the side. So we got our eye pin here. So I'm going to do, let's go ahead and do this guy, then this one. Or actually I may switch those. Let's do this little one first and then this one. Okay. And then I'm just looking at these right now. I'm not going to go ahead and probably won't go ahead and close this down until I'm just kind of looking right now. So there's our gold. We needed something in between to kind of push this up. Let's try another one of these so that the gold will show, and that does really help the gold to show. Then we can put this on. Yeah, it's too much. We don't need that, excuse me for the cough. We don't need this much under here. Actually, let's go ahead and layer this right on. Okay, this is going to look better. So let's go ahead and we'll do the gold piece. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do the gold and the yellow and this guy. And this is how it works. Sometimes you just have to experiment around and see what looks good, what you like, you know, and try things out. Now that is going to be pushing it to get a loop, but I think I can, actually. I may even trim this down just a little bit more, because I can. So if something's not working for you, change it. You can do whatever you want, really. I mean, what's the worst thing? It just won't work. That's the worst thing that can happen. Okay, so there we have it. I do like that. That's very pretty. So let's go ahead and on this top part, I'm going to go ahead and cover where I cut it with a little bead cap like that. That'll cover that right up. And do I want to put something on top? I really don't have enough room to put something on top. And actually, this might be pretty because it hangs down a little bit more. Let's see what it looks like if we bend it in. It doesn't bend in very well. Let's not do that. I do have these little tulips too. I could definitely put one of these guys on. No, don't like that. Okay, so this is probably our best bet for the top here, is this little guy. Whoops. Oh my. He does not want to stay. Okay, just like that. So I actually think that looks very pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and bend this so that won't fall off. It looks like that's gonna fall off anyway. And let's go ahead and check this guy out. So we're not gonna use this one. It's just too big. But let's see what we can do with this one. So I think I will do the small flower, this bead cap, because it's really pretty. And then we'll go here with this guy, here and here. And this is going to hang from this flower, which I think is going to look pretty good. And then I may take a little bicone and put it on the top. And let's go ahead and let's lay that right there and go ahead and take our ball head pin and do this little dangle. So I've got these little fire polish. They're beautiful. And we're just going to do the same thing we did before, making a wrapped loop to dangle from the bottom of this flower. And if you spiral your wrapped loop around like that, you can make it kind of look like a little bead cap on there almost. Okay, so there's that one. And I have this one more right here. I'm going to do both of them. Up and over and around. This bead cap, or this ball head pin's thinner than the other one. I have mine all just stuck together in one container, so I just pull out. Sometimes I get one that's a little thicker and one that's a little thinner. Okay, I'm just going to take this in a little. There we go. So we have these two little dangles. We're going to have these guys. Yeah, this is going to be super cute, I think. So I am going to take a jump ring. And I'm not going to make these as long as the others. I'm just going to hook one on with one jump ring, just like this. And then the other one I'm going to just hook right on. And the reason for that is this is the focal piece. It's going to be pretty long already. So I'm just not going to make it. I'm not going to make them dangle down too far. Okay, we'll put this guy on. Close it up. And there we have it. Now I'm going to go ahead here and make my loop. Make sure everything's kind of tight. Bend it 90 degrees. And I'm trimming that back. And I'm going to roll my loop back. Okay, so just like that. And then I'm just going to take this and hang it on this before I close this one up on the top. Just going to hang it right on there. Close this right up. And we'll see how it looks. I'm not quite, okay, see, here's one reason. I don't like to close it up until I get them on. So I'm going to take this right here and put it on the bottom of this. And it will kind of come down. See how it kind of comes down here? And it's going to make this not look like there's such a big space between the top flower and the bottom flower, if that makes sense. Here, I'll show you in just a second. Whoops. Get that through the middle hole there. Okay. So now, if you can see, that just gives this a little bit of a connection and makes it not quite as big of a space as it was. All right, so I've got this. I'm holding this very tight. I'm going to put this guy on here facing down, like this, and then I'm just going to try to roll a loop here. It's not much space left for it, but I think I can do it. There we go. All right, we got our little loop. So here is our big focal piece. These guys are going to hang to the side, and I can't decide if I want to take this. I really kind of like this looking big like this, but these may need to come down just a little bit. So what I might do is create a couple of little pieces with these tulips. So let's do this, because I don't want these to be way up here and that to hang quite so long. So let's do this. Let's take this little tulip here, put it on, put a bead cap on, like this. We're going to do this with both of them. Put the tulip on, put a bead cap on, and then we're going to take our ball head pins again, and we're going to do 2 little dangles. So I think I'm going to do these little guys right here. So again, we're just going to make a little wrapped loop. No, what am I doing? Okay, never mind. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not thinking straight. This is what we're going to do. Yeah, duh. So I wanted to put these on the top. Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm going to back to back my bead caps like this, and then set this little bicone in here. That's what I'm going to do. Just like that. And that's going to be super cute, I think. And this will hang, and then it will bring that down just a little to where it doesn't look crazy. Okay. Let's do this. I'm just going to do a wrapped, well, I don't want to do a wrapped loop actually, because I'm going to be hooking this on a closed ring, so I can't do a wrapped loop. So we'll just do the regular loop. I may have just cut that too short. We'll see. Okay, nope, it worked out. Alright, so there we have it. What I didn't do was hook this on before I close this up, so let's see how we can do it. It's a little tricky when you don't... I don't know, I may have to redo that. So you can see the, you know, my video or my stuff doesn't always work out perfectly the first time either. I make mistakes, we all do. So I'm just opening that. I'm going to see if I can fit this guy in here, and I can. That's good. I'm going to close it back up. There we go. It's much easier if you do that part before you close your top loop. Okay, so now we've got this little guy. I'm going to do the same thing on him. Bead caps back to back and a bicone on the top. I'm going to go ahead. Did I make my bottom one? Yeah, here it is. I'm going to go ahead and hook this on now. Saving myself some trouble. There we go. And then scoot that down and go ahead and make my loop. It's much easier when you do it this way. Much, much easier. All right, make this loop. Okay, so there we have it. There are our pieces. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to take a ring and we're going to hang them all from this ring, just right here in the middle. So I'm going to use the loops that I have created on the top. I'm not going to put a jump ring on. I want them directly on here. So there's one. Whoops. There is one. This guy's next, and he has a tiny little tiny little loop, but I think we'll be okay. If I had to, I could put him on with a jump ring, but I think he's gonna, yeah, he's fine just like that. There's number 2 and number 3. Just like this. So pretty. All right, so there they are. There's our big focal, it's gonna be beautiful little necklace. All right, so we've done that. It's easy from here on out pretty much. So now we're going to connect with an eye pin. So take your eye pin, go ahead and connect one on this side, just like that, and one over here. Just like that. Close them up real good. Okay, so my son called, and so I had to pick that phone call up. But here we have our focal, and it's attached to the ring with an eye pin on either side. So I've gone ahead and created these 2 little ones, and I'm going to show you how I did them. So I've got these 2 here attached to a ring, and here's one, and I'm going to make one more. So all I did for these is I took one of the filigree bead caps. First of all, I'm using the ball head pin. I'm using the fire polish bead. Then one of these filigree bead caps, which I've kind of flattened out. Not totally, but kind of flattened it. And then we're putting this 14mm flower on. And then a bead cap facing down. And a bead cap facing up. And a bicone. Okay, and I'm going to do a wrapped loop. So to do a wrapped loop, when you're using a closed ring, you either have to use a jump ring or put this on the closed ring before you close your loop. So that's what I'm going to do. Bent it at 90 degrees, coming up and over, rotating my pliers up and coming around but leaving it open. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and attach it right on here, just like that. Then I'm going to take these pliers and grab it, and I'm just going to wrap. And I like to wrap tight, just so, you know, down to the beads, so that these don't flop around, okay? And then I'm just going to trim it. Okay, so there we have it. Now, these little pieces I went ahead and did just for time's sake, because I know the video is getting long. And the way I did this is the ball head pin. I took the 6mm fire polish, one of these little tulip beads, or tulip flowers. Come on, camera. There we go. And then the 14mm and the back-to-back bead caps and the bicone. So just like this, only I used the tulip instead of the filigree piece. And attach them the same way onto this ring. Now I've got 2 eye pins that I'm just going to leave blank, not put anything on. I think, do I want to do that? No, I'm going to go ahead and embellish these. So to embellish them, for these first 2, because I ran out of these bicones, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to do a bicone, a bead cap facing the 6mm bead, this fire polish, another bead cap facing the 6mm bead, and another bicone. So just like this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and connect these, or I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and, we're not connecting them yet, go ahead and make just a regular loop. So So no wrapped loop on this, just bending it 90 degrees, trimming it off right here. I usually do about my finger's width or a little shorter, and then just rolling back this piece. Okay, so that's just going to create a little link there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So bicone, bead cap, fire polish, bead cap, bicone. Bend at 90 degrees. Trim off. And roll my loop back. Okay. Now, I'm trying to decide if I want to do another long link here, or do I want to attach? I think I do. I'm going to leave one long link, and then I'm going to do two more of these little embellishments. Now, this one's going to be different because I ran out of the bicone, so I'm going to do a fire polish in the jonquil AB, bead cap, the red and yellow fire polish, and a bead cap again, and then another fire polish in the jonquil AB. So that's a 6mm jonquil AB. It's the same color as the bicones that I'm using, only I ran out of the bicone, so I had to switch over to the fire polish. Okay, and then I'm just going to roll this loop back. So I'm going to do another one of these. Actually, I'm going to do two more of these, and then I will have two more of the head pin or the eye pins in between. And when you get all that done, come right on back and we'll look at the length of it and see if we need to go longer. But go ahead and make your 3 more little connectors, okay, and come right on back. Okay, so I've got everything done here, I think, that we're going to put together. Now, one thing that you want to be sure of is on these links where you're just doing a head pin, you want to make sure that these head pins are straight. So I've had to take my pliers and kind of straighten them out a little bit. But what we're going to do here is we're going to make just a regular loop on the other end of this head pin. So I'm coming down about, I don't know, less than a ½ inch. It's a little more than my finger's width. And actually that might have been, there we go. So about this far, as you can see, there we go. And then I'm just going to roll this back just enough to make a loop that matches the loop on the other side on the eye pin. Okay, and I'm going to do that on both of these. Now somebody is outside. I can hear a truck outside, so it might be an Amazon delivery, but Sadie's got to bark. Okay, Sadie. And we're going to roll this back. Yeah, she'll probably go into the major bark here in just a second. This is just the warning, there's somebody out there bark. And if they actually knock on the door, she'll go into the danger bark. Okay. All right, we're going to hook this right on here. I'm going to do the yellow one on the inside. I kind of like the way that looks better. So I'm just opening this up, hooking it directly onto my loop, onto my ring. Oh, yep, there's the major bark. Okay, that's good. We know. And same thing over here. It's okay, Sadie. Nobody's gonna get us. Closing that up. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to, on both sides, hook it onto this ring, make a loop on this end, and hook it onto this ring. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Come on back. Okay, so we've got everything hooked together here, and now we're just going to hook these links directly on to our ring. So we'll go right on here. Didn't open it up enough. There we go. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right over here. All right, right on here. Whoops. Perfect. Now, I'm going to hook another eye pin to both of those little rings, and then I'm going to do my next connection and another eye pin, and then we'll come back and check the length. So go ahead and do the same. Okay, so I've got all these hooked together so far. I held this up on me, and I definitely think that I want it, it's got to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just trying to flip these around. These we may have to adjust here in a minute, the way that they are turned. We may have to adjust some of the loops. See, I've got this one. Well, there we go. No. Yeah, he's going to lay on the inside, so I'm going to have to turn some of the loops, or yeah, I'll have to turn some of the loops on these because I want him on the outside. And I don't know why it got flipped like that. I had it laying, it's best if you keep it laying down on your mat, and I did, but somehow, let's see. Okay, so that's flat. It's this one that's got me messed up. Okay, so see, I want him to be on the outside with the others. So you may encounter this too. So I've got to flip this flower around here. These two are laying on the outside before I put it on. Okay? Because if I put it on with the flower inside, then it's not going to lay on the outside. So just keep that in mind when you're putting these together. It's best if you can keep it laying flat on your mat so you can kind of see how everything's going to go. Okay, so see, now they're all on the outside, which is what I need. Okay, but yeah, I definitely need a couple more, or a little bit more length. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these two, and then these two eye pins, and then we'll come back and check it. So go ahead and do yours if you want it to be long. You kind of need to hold it up on yourself and just see where, you know, you want it to lay. It's totally personal preference. So go ahead and do that, and if you need the extras, go ahead and attach them. Okay, so when I hold this up to me now, it's pretty much good on the length. So from my focal piece here, all the way up, I've got about 10 inches per side. So this necklace is about 20 inches from here to here, and the total length, if you measure down here, it's about 12 per side. So that's about how mine usually go, 24 inches total. So now I'm just going to take my lobster, and I'm going to hook it on the end of this eye pin right here. And I'm going to hook the end of my eye pin here to this ring. And there we have it. So I think this is super cute. I'm going to do a pair of earrings. So if you want to see the earrings, make sure that you are subscribed and you ring the bell. Otherwise, you're not going to know when I upload them. But I am going to do the earrings, and I don't know, I may possibly do a bracelet, just kind of depending on how things go. But let me put this on a form, and I'll be right back to show you how it hangs. Okay, so here it is in my light box, and I have got to say, this is one of my favorites that I've made in a long time. It is so feminine, but so just, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's summery, it's got some fall colors if you wanted to wear it in the fall. The AB is so pretty with these fire polish beads, and I just love the way the eye pins, it's just a different look. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I upload the earrings that match this. And if you're interested in purchasing these flowers, they are on my website. I will link that in the description box below this video. And I appreciate you all. Just want you to know that. Thanks for watching. Bye.